Alright, so Vitali has officially hit rock bottom in the Philippines, and this isn't just about him losing muscle or crying behind bars. No, this man might have accidentally changed Filipino law just by being the most chaotic, clout-chasing nuisance in recent memory. Let's get into the full breakdown of what's actually going on with Vitali, because between the failed bail, the body transformation, the prison transfer, and the new data privacy law he accidentally helped trigger, this story has evolved from YouTuber in trouble to a global embarrassment getting legally humbled in 4K. Let's rewind just a little. Up until recently, Vitali was being held in an immigration facility, basically a holding spot where they keep foreigners who are about to be deported. It was jail light. Think of it like airplane peanuts, technically food but barely. Well, now he's actually been sent to real prison. As of the 11th of June, the Filipino Bureau of Immigration has officially transferred Vitali into the custody of the Bureau of Jail Management and Penology, aka the BJMP. That's not just a department switch, that's a full upgrade to hard mode. The reason? Local criminal charges. Translation, he's not just getting kicked out of the country, he's being prosecuted like a local criminal. And here's the twist, he's staying behind bars until his case plays out fully. Then and only then, he might go back to immigration for deportation. But even that's not guaranteed. He's stuck and there's no rescue team coming. And actually guys, I have some bad news to tell you. I'm recording this after recording the original video, but Vitali actually posted bail from BJMP for the court case of unjust vexation. However, he is not released and doesn't have freedom. Instead, he was transferred back to the Bureau of Immigration holding facility. Basically, he's still in jail facing a deportation case and officially labeled as an undesirable foreign national. So he's still having fun in jail. So now let's talk about the visual shock everyone had when new photos of Vitali dropped after his transfer. In his earlier photos, he looks like a human protein shake. Veins popping, chest puffed, smiling like he just bench pressed an apology. Now, well, the dude looks like he spent 3 months eating air sandwiches and doing cardio by pacing in his cell. He's still in decent shape, but the muscle gone, the smug smile gone. His face is sunken, his body shrunk, and his whole vibe screams, I made a mistake. Why the change? Well, 2 reasons. There is no gym gear in jail. I'll show you guys some photos of these Filipino jails, and yeah. There's not a lot of space. I'd be surprised if he has space to lay down fully when he's sleeping. And of course, he doesn't have access to the performance enhancers he allegedly relied on. No testosterone, no supplements, no stacks, just plain rice and regret. And then let's talk about the stress and starvation. According to people who've seen the conditions in these facilities, inmates don't exactly get 3,000 calorie bulking meals. Some even claim he's being underfed or starved. Not intentionally, but because the resources just aren't there. And of course with Vitali probably weighing like 80 or 90 kilos, compared to the average Filipino male, he's definitely not getting the recommended serving size for his body type. Now here's where the story gets wild. Because of Vitali and streamers like him, the Philippines just introduced a new data privacy rule targeting IRL nuisance content.
It appears that Vitali has changed Philippine law. Yes. From the National Privacy Commission of the Philippines, saying vloggers must blur bystanders in posts under new NPC guidelines. So to explain real quick, whenever you have nuisance streamers, whenever you have these content creators, the IRL streamers, they are capturing many other people other than themselves in these videos, including vulnerable people, children, disabled people, elderly, people that they have absolutely zero permission or consent to record, and they're using him for clout, for profit, and even to mock those people that really can't defend themselves. Vloggers are now required to mask images of bystanders in their post under the new guidelines of the National Privacy Commission. NPC Circular number 2501.
The National Privacy Commission rolled out NPC Circular number 251. Yes, they literally gave it a boss fight name, which forces vloggers to blur bystanders in their videos. Not just children or vulnerable folks, everyone. If someone didn't consent to be on camera, you better blur them or catch a case. This applies to streamers, vloggers, even body cam users. If you're filming in public and capturing faces without consent, you could be hit with criminal, civil, and administrative charges under the Philippines Data Privacy Act. The commission even said vloggers must post privacy notices before recording and explain in plain language what data they're collecting. So yeah, not only is Vitali in jail, he helped change law enforcement standards for content creators in the Philippines. He broke the system so bad they had to patch the game mid-season. And let's be clear, the BJMP isn't a luxury resort. It's known for being overcrowded, under-resourced, and brutally harsh, especially for someone like Vitali, who lived lavishly and acted invincible on camera. This isn't just jail time, this is a life lesson time. And even local Filipinos are saying the same thing. If this happened under former President Duterte, Vitali wouldn't be in jail. He'd be off the grid entirely, like disappeared. People believe Duterte, sorry if I'm saying it wrong, wouldn't have tolerated the disrespect Vitali showed. Some say he wouldn't even get a trial, and others claim if the president was still in office, we might be hearing about Vitali in a true crime podcast instead of YouTube updates. Even now, current Filipino leadership is sending a message. Foreigners who abuse the country's hospitality will face full legal consequences. No clout armor, no privilege. Now here's the part some of you may already know, but it hits even harder in context. Vitali tried begging for bail, pledging to behave and not flee if released. That was flat out denied. Why? Because he's a massive flight risk, and both Russia and the US made it clear they want no part of him. Russia publicly condemned his actions and told its citizens, don't be like this guy. That's a diplomatic way of saying, he's your problem now. Meanwhile, the US took the lol no thanks approach. Vitali is a green card holder, not a citizen, and nobody wants to go through the effort of dealing with his mess. The Philippines got the memo, that's why they moved him into the BJMP in the first place. If either country planned to swoop in and get him out, he would have stayed in immigration, but this transfer is a clear signal. He's being processed like a Filipino criminal and will face justice exactly the same way. Of course, that hasn't stopped the simps from simping. There's this one guy, an ex-fan, tuned, unofficial hype man, still claiming Vitali is valuable enough to get traded internationally. Bro, be for real. His theory sounds like it came from a late night Reddit thread. Maybe Russia will trade a Filipino prisoner for Vitali, or maybe Trump will pull some strings because Aiden Ross and the Nelk boys are friends with him.
They're seeking to get him out of the prison because he has a Russian citizenship. He's technically a Russian citizen. However, he hasn't lived there in many years. He never paid taxes there. He just traveled there, stayed in touch with certain YouTubers, had some certain connections, but he still has a Russian citizenship. And on top of that, he's a green card holder. I don't think he has a citizenship yet in the United States, but most of his life he lived in the States. So this is like a structure of the Russian government, especially during these times when there's a war in Ukraine. What Russian government is seeking for is to get a valuable person, which Vitali is. I mean, he's a public figure, right? Public figures are always valuable people because they have following base, they have connections with certain individuals overseas. So he's a valuable figure. That's why Russian diplomats staying in touch with the Philippine government to get him out of the prison. There might be Filipino prisoners that are currently imprisoned in Russia and might be valuable for Filipino government. So they can do the trade. They can exchange from one prison to another. Therefore, Vitali will go back to Russia, and somebody from Russian prison who is a citizen of Philippines will go to Philippines, including Nelk boys, because what's that guy named Aiden Ross, I believe, who are in touch with Donald Trump. These people are valuable, obviously. If you're in a shithole like Vitali, you're gonna be doing everything you can. And I'm pretty sure she's done already.
First off, this isn't a Cold War spy movie. Second, Vitali's not valuable. He's not Edward Snowden. He is just a gym bro with a GoPro and no filter. And the saddest part, the same dude said Vitali ghosted him years ago, refused to collab, and told him to kick rocks. But he's still defending him like a puppy waiting for a belly rub. That's not loyalty, that's delusion. Nobody's coming to save Vitali. Not Russia, not the US, not Trump, not Aiden, not the Nelk boys, not even the guy he told to screw off. So, from YouTube stunts to jail bunks, Vitali's fall from grace is a warning shot to every cloud chaser on the internet. He thought going viral was worth anything. He thought he was untouchable. He thought consequences were just a YouTube comment section problem. But the Philippines isn't a playground, it's a sovereign nation, and when you break the law there, you don't get a slap on the wrist, you get locked up, you get your name blasted on the news, you get humbled by a justice system that doesn't care about your subscriber count. So yeah, Vitali may have changed the law, but it came at the cost of his freedom, his career, and maybe even his identity. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and let that sink in the next time you see someone live streaming themselves being obnoxious in public, because if the Philippines can lock up one clout gremlin, they can lock up more. Stay safe and stay off the cringe side of YouTube. Have a great day, like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you guys in the next one.